Bass in your face.
What the hell is going on down there?
Bass in your face.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or are watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense, because here on this platform, we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions. But not everyone uses logic. Okay, which is why it's called Uncommon Sense. I also have another YouTube channel called Latina Diaspora, where I discuss issues pertaining to Latinos living in the United States. The link to that channel is in the description. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And the subscriber mode has been enabled for the first 5 minutes. Meaning, if you're not a subscriber and if you wish to enter a comment in the chat, you need to subscribe for at least 5 minutes. Also, tonight, I'm not using my laptop to go live. I'm using my cell phone due to the issues regarding the lagging. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who've already subscribed to the channel. Whether you've been a supporter from the very beginning or just recently joined, I really appreciate your love and continued support. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, as well as those who allow me to enter into your devices and those who watch from the clouds, even the haters. So what I'm going to ask you to do, if you're not done so already, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notifications to all. So therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. So as you can see by the thumbnail, the topic for tonight, your health is your wealth. So I'm going to talk about it, why maintaining your health is very important. Okay. But before we get into the main topic, we're going to have another episode of In My Words. Now, tonight's episode in My Words it's unusual because it's going to be directed regarding a recent situation that occurred. Usually I don't respond, but in this case, it warrants a response. Recently, Miss Elite did a live regarding Crystal Swirls, who is a content creator. Okay. My understanding that this live went on for about 4 hours plus. Now, for whatever reason, Miss Elite allowed her guests to change the focus on the live from commenting on Crystal Swirls to yours truly. Now, she posted something in her community tab talking about how she was, upset that our live that was dedicated talking about Crystal Soul focused on me. Let me make this perfectly clear. The reason why it was focused on me, because she allowed one of her guests to change talking to focus up the string. And this individual spent 75% of the stream calling me out, making racist remarks about yours truly. Now, I have said this before and I'll say it again. Everyone has the right to govern their content as they see fit. However, with that right, there's also a responsibility. Like it or not, each content creator is responsible for everything that goes on their respective platforms or channels. Okay, and it is the responsibility of the host that whenever anyone takes the stream out, out of the original theme to bring it back to the original focus. Basically, after a while, it became let's dump out Jose Negron. And she managed to get her supporters to talk about me and making racist remarks and also making alluding to the situation with Alexander. Okay. Now, during the middle of the stream, my dear friends, Golden Goddess and Dreaming Reality hop on the live and they expressed an opinion. And the opinion was the last time that I was live, they did not give me a fair shake. They were, they were making racist remarks against me, making racist remarks regarding Latinos. Okay. Now, apparently, they have a double standard. They can, support their friend Alexander, and it is their right. However, they had an issue when my friends come up to defend me. And let me make this perfectly clear. I did not ask anyone to defend me in any shape or form. Golden Goddess and Dreaming Reality decided on their own initiative to express their point of view, of which they felt I was not treated fairly. That I was they're being rude, they're being disrespectful, being racist towards me. And how I found out about it, because I was informed. But interesting or not, this live was privated. Okay. Now, let me make this perfectly clear. I have been a content creator for almost 5 years. Okay. Now, in light of what transpired, I made a posting on my community tab. And my question is the following. So it's okay when you have a group of people to have the gang up on yours truly, but yet you get upset because there are certain people choose to defend me and expressing a point of view which were valid. Really? Really? And unlike certain content creators, I've made over 2,000 lives, videos of different types of content. Do you know how many videos or lives were either privated or deleted? One. Okay. In fact, let me just read the third paragraph, which states the following. In my nearly 5 years as a content creator, I have deleted or privated only one video. It is because I made sure that whatever content I shared, I will not later regret the content. That is the difference. Good evening, Dreaming. Excuse me. Good evening, Dreaming. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is the thing. Everybody, and I repeat, everybody has the right to govern their content as they see fit. At the same time, each host is responsible for what goes on. Okay. So I find it very odd that Miss Ali would be complaining about a life that went south, that they've turned into an attack Hossein Negron life, is because you allow it to happen. You allow it to take place. So the whole point that you lamenting over something that you had control over, really, really. And let me make this perfectly clear. Each one of us, like it or not, is going to be held responsible for everything that we say or do, which I called it Matthew chapter 12, verse 36, which says, I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof at the day in judgment. In other words, everybody is going to have to give an account. Yep. Yes, Dreamy. It was all stupid. It was insane. It shouldn't even have to occur that way. Okay. But it happened. Okay. So returning to the point, if you don't want your if you don't want your live or content to go off the rail, so to speak, take responsibility for it. Control. Okay. Correct your guests. Okay. Do not. The fact that she's lamenting over something that she allowed to occur. Really? Really? And look, and I get it. I am not everybody's cup of tea. That's perfectly fine with me. Okay. And you know what? People can say whatever they want about me. I cannot control what other people say. I can only control what's going to be my response. And I'm going to ask a good question. Why devote 4 hours plus on a live that you go to private it or delete? Why? That was an exercise in futility. Okay. Take a look at my content. It's out there for everyone to see, to critique, criticize, and what have you. Okay. I am not embarrassed by my content. I stand behind that. And furthermore, when it comes to everything that happens on my platform, I take accountability. Okay. Because when everything is said and done, I am responsible for everything that goes on this channel. I am not going to let something go left and then complain about it after the fact. I'm going to take accountability. Perhaps, Miss Ali, you should do the same as well. And usually I do not address this in this fashion, but I find it extremely hypocritical. It's okay for you to defend your friend Alexander, but it's an issue if my friends choose to defend me. So basically, I'm supposed to be the sacrificial lamb so you can just have more clicks and views. I don't think so. I don't think so. Hopefully, this will be the last time I will have to address it. Okay. But in any case, I will continue to focus on being the best version of myself. I will continue to produce content which is positive and Christian oriented. People are going to say whatever they're going to say. I cannot control what other people say. I control my response. And with that being said, we're going to go to the main topic. Now, before I continue, let me just state for the record that the link to join the panel has been pinned. Should anyone wishes to hit that link and opine regarding the topic at hand, they may do so. However, and I know I said this at every live, and I will continue to say it. If I never seen you before, if I never heard from you before, I will insist that you come up in the backstage to make sure that no one flashes any adult content, which will cause the people of YouTube to take down the stream. Once I see that you will not do that, then I will let you on the panel. And before I forget, let me just state that my friend Dreamy in Reality has her own YouTube channel at which she talks about issues pertaining to mixed people and other relative issues. So I'm going to ask that you show some love to my friend. I'm going to ask you to please check out her content. I'm going to ask you to please, if you have not done so, consider subscribing to her channel. Okay, I have been happy to give her a shout out and to share her content, and I will continue to do so as long as she grants me permission to do so. You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. I believe in supporting people who support me. Okay, that's okay. That's been my philosophy. And also my philosophy is as follows. If you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. It's that simple. Now let's focus on your health and your wealth. Now, why is that statement so important? Okay. It is important because in order for you to be truly healthy, you need to be healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Okay. No, believe me, Dreamy, look, let me tell you something. I just look at it this way. They are giving me free press. Okay. They're giving me, so if they want to be stupid enough and talk about me, and then people come to my platform and see what I'm about and then subscribe to my channel. If they want to advertise for me, that's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. But when it comes to health, I have been a believer in order to be well completely, you have to be well physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the physical part. Okay. Now, how can you maintain your health physically? It is okay. Believe it or not, it is not that complicated. Okay. First of all, make sure that you maintain healthy habits. Okay. And what I mean by that, first of all, it goes down to your diet, what you eat. Okay. Be mindful of what you are eating. Okay. Make sure that you eat from all the different food groups, your fruits, your vegetables, your grains, your meats and fats, and things of that nature. Okay. Uh, Always try to um, look for the healthier portions. Okay. Um, One thing that you shouldn't do is drink water. In fact, I'm drinking water tonight. First of all, it's healthy. Number one, there's no calories, so you cannot gain weight. So one key is to maintain a healthy diet. Make sure that you eat 3 meals a day. Okay. and there should be a variety. Okay. Make sure that you eat your grains. Make sure you eat your protein. Make sure you eat your fruits and vegetables. If you go on a snack on something, try to snack on something that's healthy, like fruit, apples, bananas, strawberries, things of that nature. Um, if you're going to eat chicken, try to eat um, baked chicken or grilled chicken. You can eat fried chicken. Just try to limit it. Okay. Potatoes. Try to eat baked potatoes or boiled potatoes, things of that nature. Also, get into a routine where you are physically active. Okay. Now, if you are able to join a gym, great. But not everyone can join a gym. Not everyone can afford a gym. But what you can do is you can get into a routine of walking regularly. Okay. In fact, simply by walking 30 minutes a day, a few days a week, that's going to improve your health. Not only does it improve your physical health, but also your mental health because it helps you to clear things out. Make sure that you schedule your medical appointments regularly. Okay. Which means getting your vision checked twice a year, having a physical every 6 months, having your feet examined, having your hearing examined. Okay. And when you do see your physician, if there's anything that's causing you issues, um, make sure that you bring it to your physician's attention. Okay. Another thing that's very important is making sure that you get your sleep. Okay. Um, you'll be surprised what a good night's sleep, how much it will help you. Okay. Um, now I know there's certain debates like how much sleep you should get, whether it be 8 hours, 7 hours, 6 hours. Try to at least get 6 or 7 hours of sleep every day, every night, that is. Okay. Because your body needs to rest. Okay. Because remember, your body is like a machine. And you need to make sure that your body has rest. Now, for those who are just tuning in, the topic for tonight is your health is your wealth. So for I have been talking about the physical aspects. Okay. Another thing, if you're not feeling well, okay, if you're not feeling well, whether it be because you have a cold, you have the flu, or whatever, don't try to go to work when you're sick. Stay home. Okay. Nowadays, there are many doctor's offices that you can do a virtual appointment. Okay. In fact, I did that during COVID because before they came out with a vaccine, we had to have virtual appointments because, of course, we have to reduce the risk of exposure. Okay. Now, one thing that I'm I do on a regular basis, I have appointments when I have my vision check. I have a physical done at least twice a year. I also go to see a podiatrist to have my feet examined um, every every 8 to 10 weeks. Now now to you that seems like a lot. It says that it says that as a person that's feed diabetic, it's very important to make sure that my feet are in good condition, just like everybody else, every part of my body. Um, Now the next thing I want to focus on is the mental health. Now the reason why I choose to focus on mental health is because I hold the belief that if you're not well mentally, it's going to affect the rest of the rest of the other elements. If you're not well mentally, it's going to affect you emotionally. It's going to affect you spiritually. It's going to affect you physically. Okay. Now, this is where some people have an issue seeing a mental health expert. Part of it is due to shame. Part of it is that some of us was not taught that it was acceptable to see a mental health person. Okay, we some of us, and particularly in my generation, we were taught that if we were to see a therapist, meant that we were crazy, what have you. And I'm going to keep it a buck. Part of it has to do with pride. So, we could be, and our mental health could be affected in all many ways. Um, it could be affected by stress within our interpersonal relationships. It could be stress affected by our romantic relationships. Um, our mental health could be affected due to physical illness or the threat of an illness. Also, we can be affected um, dealing with the death of a loved one or the death of a romantic relationship. Because when a romantic relationship ends, it's kind of like a mourning period. And if left unchecked, it can lead into depression. It can also lead to other mental health issues. Also, it can also lead to self deletion. Okay. So it's very important that when you are dealing with any mental health issues, or don't be embarrassed, seek a therapist. Okay. Or what you can do if you don't feel comfortable with a therapist, if you have um, if you have like a close friend or a loved one that you can share your concerns and your worries, that could be helpful. And of course, another option, particularly if you are a Christian, prayer. Okay. And prayer, you'll be surprised how prayer can help, particularly if you're just being honest with God. Okay. God does not expect you to pray a certain way. God just wants you to be honest. God wants you to be sincere and just say what's on your mind. Okay. Now, one of the things that I don't do here on my channel is I don't censor people how they wish to express themselves. Okay. And there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, I believe everyone should be able to express themselves as they see fit. Number one. Number two, people in general, or maybe put it to you this way, Mature people are able to censor themselves. So, so I don't see the need to censor anyone on my platform as long as everyone is being mutually respectable. Okay. Now, if you do need to seek a mental health person, don't be embarrassed. Seek a therapist. Now, in many large employers, they have what's called employment assistance programs. And what they do is they assist their employees if they have any mental health issues that could in any way, shape, or form affect their performance at their place of employment. Okay. My my organization, okay, does have an employment assistance program. Also, my union has what's called a crisis intervention program, where a member can speak to a licensed social worker on a short-term basis regarding any mental health issues that they may be experiencing. Also, when you're dealing with mental health issues, it will affect you emotionally. Okay. In fact, basically, it's like a mental, your mental health and your emotional health go hand in hand. It's like the two sides of a coin. Okay. Because your emotions will affect how you react. Your emotions will affect how you interact with other people. Okay. And of course, by all means, um, if if you are having some difficulties with your emotions, maybe because something's going on in your life, maybe you're going through a personal crisis of some sort, or maybe you're dealing with an illness, or maybe you're dealing with a personal problem, don't be embarrassed to seek therapy. Okay. If now, I'm going to keep it real. Um, a lot of a lot of these individuals that you see in these YouTube streets that are crashing out, they're getting emotional, they're getting, they're getting wretched. A lot of it has to do with issues that that haven't been able to resolve. Because one thing I have said, and I believe it's true, hurt people hurt people. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? If you're not, if you are dealing with trauma, whatever it is, and you don't address it, it's going to affect your judgment. It's going to affect how you interact with other people. Okay. So that's why I say that emotional health and mental health are two sides of the same coin. Now, I'm going to talk about what I mean spiritual health. What do I mean by that? That means how you are spiritually speaking. Okay. Now I understand that everyone has a different belief system. Okay. My belief system is Christianity. Okay. Other people may have belief systems. Even those who address who are atheists. That's okay. That's a belief system as well. A belief that that God does not exist. That's a belief system as well. Okay. It's very important that you be in peace spiritual. Okay. whether it be God, whether it be Allah, whether it be Buddha, whether it be Confucius, or what have you. Okay. It is not my place to get into a, a debate regarding which belief system is appropriate. There are other times when I can discuss things of that nature. Um, but whatever belief system that you have, if you're not in peace with yourself spiritually, it's going to affect your judgment. It's going to affect how you interact with other people. Okay. And believe me, I've seen it how people who are not well spiritually had lashed out at certain people. And let me make this perfectly clear. I'm not illustrating myself as a health person. I'm not a physician. I'm not a therapist. I'm just a lay person. Okay. I'm just basing everything based on my own personal experiences in my 63 plus years of life. So basically, I'm just sharing the wisdom that God has granted me to have. Okay. And one thing that I try to bear in mind is that when I interact with people, there are different levels of growth. There are different levels of maturity. Okay. So I try to be mindful of that. It is not my place um, to pass judgment on anybody. Okay. I do try to be mindful of the fact that everyone thinks differently. Everyone reacts differently. Everyone has different philosophies as far as how they should interact um, within their respective communities and things of that nature. Okay. And one thing about me, I don't impose my views on anyone. Okay. Because I don't want anyone to impose their views on me. Okay. But I do observe and I do see people that are generally healthy in all aspects. And I see people where they're not healthy in at least one aspect. And I don't have any statistical data to support my belief that if you're not well in one aspect, it will affect the other three aspects. It is based purely on observation. I truly believe that for a person to be truly healthy, you need to be healthy physically, and there's things you can do to maintain physical health. You need to be well mentally, and there's things that you can do. Okay. And part of it of being mentally well is to be mindful of the fact is that you cannot control what other people say or do. You can only control what's going to be your response. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, I know for a fact, not everyone is going to like me. Not for, I'm not for, for, I'm not their cup of tea for everyone. There are people that hate, that can't stand my guts. There are people that despise me. I get it. Okay. That's perfectly fine. Okay. I am not going to worry about what other people who don't know about me, who are not in my own personal life, going to say about me. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. I am responsible to God Almighty and to Jose Negron. That's all. I am not responsible to my detractors. I am not responsible for what my haters haters will hate. Okay. They will hate no matter what I say or do. And when everything is said and done, they don't matter in my life. Okay. The ones that matter in my life are the people who I who I interact on a regular basis. The ones that are important are those who I actually have a relationship with. Those who I interact on a regular basis. Those that I speak to on a regular basis. Everybody else, you know, um, their opinion and $3 will get you a ride on the subway. Okay. And truth be told, we all need to operate with that under that belief. We cannot control what other people will say. We cannot control how other people react. We can control, we control what we say and what we do. And a perfect example of that was that the last time that I appeared on Mr. Leaf's Live, when we had this David person that was making racist remarks about yours truly, and also making remarks regarding my ethnicity and things of that nature, and talking about that I'm getting angry and things of that nature. And I just said, you know what? He's just entitled. You're entitled. He's entitled to his opinion. But that the reason why that is the case is that I am secure in who I am. I know who I am. I am a person with my own individuality. I am a person that has a moral compass. I am a person that uh, follow a system of beliefs, which for a large part based on biblical principles. And I also know that I cannot please everybody, and I don't try to do that. Again, as long as God is happy with me, and as long as Jose Negron is happy with me, that's fine. Okay. And part of it is when you are secure in yourself, what your naysayers were saying doesn't matter. What your adversaries say doesn't matter. Okay? Because they're not in your life. You're never I mean, they're never going to interact with you outside of YouTube or social media. So why should I care what some individuals say that have an issue with me? Okay. And the fact of the matter is, if people have an issue with me, they're the ones that have the issue, not me. And truth be told, I have forgiven my naysayers. But let me make this perfectly clear. Forgiveness does not mean restoration. It does not mean interaction. I can forgive a person and not have anything to do with a person again. Okay. Because that I choose not to let what a person said about me or done about me affect me in any way, shape, or form. Because I'm not going to let any op have free room and board on my mind. Okay. Because I know who I am. I am a unique person. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I am made in God's image, just like every one of us is made in God's image. Okay. And I am a person of worth. And all of you are people of worth. Okay. No matter what mistakes you have made, no matter how many times that you have screwed up or whatever, each one of us is wonderfully made in the image of God Almighty. And just to let you know, all throughout this week, I will be using my phone to go live. I don't appear to be lagging. Okay. So I'm gonna ask if anybody in the clouds, um, if I'm not lagging, please put a one in the chat. If I am lagging, please put a two. Okay. It's just that I know one of the issues that I have had is problems with my internet, which is why I decided tonight not to use my laptop, but to use my phone. Okay. So if anyone wishes to hit the link and opine, they may do so. If no one does, then I'll wrap this up and call it a night. Okay. But it's very important to have good health. Not in just one aspect, in all four. Okay. Because again, if you're healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, you're truly healthy. Okay. And if you're not healthy in one, it's going to affect the other three. Okay. And there are ways that you can become healthy. Okay. Because knowledge is power. Now, with that, let me just share with you what's going to be the topic for our next slide, which will be on Tuesday. The topic will be ignore the noise. Now, what do I mean by ignore the noise? Basically, the noise is the noise coming from detractors. Okay. Because the fact of the matter is, each one of us are going to have detractors sooner or later. They're gonna be detractors because of our content. They're gonna be detracted because of the people that we hang out with, or they're gonna be detractors because I don't know whatever reason. Maybe some of them don't even know the reason why they are detractors. So I'm gonna be talking about that. I'm also gonna be talking about how to deal with the detractors. Okay. And the best way of dealing with detractors is to ignore them. Do not engage with them. Do not argue with them because all you're doing is you are enabling them to behave in their sick, pathetic way. Okay. Now, there is a reason why I prefer to the detractors as a circus because they act like a bunch of clowns. Okay. They don't contribute anything. They're just energy vultures. They try to rob you of your peace. They try to rob you um, of your well-being. And the only way they feel good about themselves is by bothering you. So the best way to deal with these individuals is to ignore them completely. So with that being said, I am going to wrap this up. And of course, the playback end, do your own thing. Um, you're more than welcome to enter whatever comments that you wish just try to be mindful, keep it respectable, because if not, your comments are going to get deleted. Okay. And if you have not done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. Make sure you set the bell notifications to all. So therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. And with that being said, I'm going to close the same way that we always close. We must do everything possible to avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by the stupidity and massive insanity. And whatever you say and do, let us do to the glory of God. And with that being said, this has been another episode from Common Sense with Jose Negron, wishing you a very productive week. Stay blessed and peace.